Dandy's World lied to me. What appeared to me to be an apologetic toon trying to make amends for the mess he'd made was really a cover-up for the deep pain and suffering that he and his former creators were causing behind the scenes. Internet, welcome to Game Theory, the show that's about to burst with black goo if you don't subscribe. Okay, that was weird. I'm telling you, black goo can do some weird things to you. We've seen it across many indie horror franchises, but it's never been more true than it has for the Roblox game Dandy's World, a survival game about an abandoned museum and TV studio called the Garden View Center. Created by two young visionaries, Arthur and Delilah, in 1984, they were able to create living, breathing cartoon characters through the power of a mysterious black goo called ichor. Unfortunately, this very substance is also what causes the toons to turn into their evil counterparts, called the Twisteds, larger, more deadly versions oozing with the black substance. The first instance occurred in 2002, labeled as the Malfunction Incident, and since then, the facility has been shut down, leaving Dandy and all of his toon friends abandoned, locked away in the facility. Last time, we theorized that our lead character, Dandy, was the one responsible for the incident. He was the first to turn into a Twisted, and is now trying to make amends by reviving his friends with ichor in order to bring the show back, only for it to go wrong and turn all of the toons into Twisteds. But it's been a whole year since that theory, and since then, Dandy's World has been chugging along, adding more updates, more characters, and of course, more lore. And all of these new updates have shown us a lot more about what's really going on with the toons in the Garden View Center. That this isn't the story of one regretful toon's attempt to make things right, but instead carry on in the narrow-minded footsteps of his creators. So hop in the elevator with me, theorists, as we begin extracting the mysterious dark lore of Dandy's World. One of the first updates that was added to Dandy's World was a video that is running on a CRT in the new warehouse floor. First off, who's got time to look at TV screens when trying to escape monsters? Me, that's who, because that's where the story is being told. The video is of Delilah talking to the main man himself, Dandy. She's asking about Dandy's breathing issues, and Dandy expresses his loneliness, to which Arthur reveals they brought to life his pet rock, Pebble, and that more friends are coming soon. But during that section, Arthur says Pebble is just like the show. Before this, our understanding was that the TV show began airing after the toons were made. The earliest date we had for the show was 1990, but this tape is recorded in August of 1987. You combine that with all the posters on the wall and the opening date for the Garden View Center of 1984, and suddenly it becomes clear that the Garden View Center wasn't a TV studio like we first theorized. It was just a museum for the show, using the storyboards of episodes as memorabilia to display. The other reason I thought this was a studio was because the toons seemed to remember everything that happened to them in the show as if they were real events. Those recollections obviously haven't changed, but if Dandy and Pebble were brought to life in 1987, like the show, it would appear that these characters weren't originally brought to life to be actors, but to be physical representations of those characters. They were even made to watch the shows to essentially become these characters and take on their memories as their own. So that's one mystery very quickly solved, but let's be honest, we're here for the new mysteries that are coming out. And from this point on, update after update dropped with new toons introduced each time. For the Easter update, a new floor was added along with some seasonal toons like Eggs and the Egg, Flight the Butterfly, Coco the Chocolate Rabbit, and Bassie the Easter Basket. But these characters aren't just up to their eyeballs in ichor, they are also filled with sweet, sweet lore. Just looking at how these characters interact with other toons, you get a pretty clear idea of their personalities and that there may be some discourse between fellow toons. A lot of Bassie's interactions show that she is very insecure. When talking to Bobette, the Christmas toon, she says,
So, you're the Christmas holiday main?
Last I checked, yup.
Last you checked? Like, we could be replaced?
What? No, I meant it as a silly little comment.
You're so funny.
Bassie feels like she could be replaced at any minute. A lot of her interactions are similar, unsure. With her, Bassie is a lot more standoffish.
Coco. Oh, Bassie! How are you, my friend? Fine. That's great to hear. Were you needing any help? No, not from you.
What is Bassie's deal? Based on the other interactions, everyone seems to love Coco, but Bassie acts totally cold towards her. Although, if you explore the Easter floor a little more, the relationship between Bassie and Coco starts to make a lot more sense. A room in the back is covered in ichor. Writing on the wall says, "Get her!" And then there's a note in a puddle of ichor. The note is from Delilah, the creator of the tunes, and it says, "I don't think she should be the main class tune. She's too reliant on the fellowship of tunes she's close with. She is dependent, not an independent. Reconsider." Sounds a lot like our nervous wicker basket Bassie, right? She was being recommended by Delilah to not become a main. And let's be real, if Bassie is not going to be made the main Easter tune, they were going to give that title to a more likable tune, like Coco. And when we look at Bassie's twisted description, you can see that is exactly what happened. One of the holiday main characters of Dandy's World, the fear of never living up to others' expectations has caused her to act out in desperation. She knew that Coco was getting the bump to main tune over her, no matter how hard she tried. So when Bassie read this letter, her emotions overwhelmed her and she became a Twisted. We already know that the Twisteds are a result of the tunes being overwhelmed with ichor, the stuff that gave them life. But the clues we get about Bassie tell us that it's a specific moment that triggers this Twisted transformation. This idea was then followed up in the next seasonal update, the Halloween update, where we are once again introduced to a bunch of seasonal tunes, with the main tune being Gordy the Pumpkin, a younger tune with a lot of energy. But when looking through the Halloween floor, we learn Gordy has a lot of deep anguish and pain. One of the walls has a big hole broken through it, and inside
geometry dash.